If you clicked on this video, you either absolutely hate the Tate brothers or you actually really like their message and they've helped change your life in one way or another. I know for me, it was my first time meeting them a few weeks ago, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it was like to actually meet them and one lesson that I learned along the way that I think will drastically change the course of your life if you really take it to heart. For those that don't know me, my name is Gary Frayter. I previously managed social media for some of the biggest celebrities on the planet: Mike Tyson, Brendan Schaub, Steven Crowder, Mark Sanchez. And then I quit my job, plunged into the unknown, and started a content agency with my brother, and we scaled it to over 20 employees, working with some of the biggest brands and celebrities on the planet. So a few weeks ago, I met Andrew and Tristan Tate and Justin Waller, and I got to see them in person for the first time at a client event in Miami. And let's go all the way back to when I first saw anything about Andrew Tate. The first time I saw him was on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I'm sure like many of you guys saw a bunch of his clips going around. He was like the inventor of clipping that all the streamers are doing now, where all these little clips are being circulated across social media in order to grow their personal brands. So I saw a clip, and at the time, things were very, very crazy, I think, all around the world. We were kind of going through this mass cancellation of everybody. Like, everybody was afraid to speak up, especially young men. And here you have this bald-headed kickboxer who's appearing on all these, random podcasts, and his clips are going around social media, and you can't help but wonder, wow, like this guy's got balls of steel for saying some of these things that everybody else is getting canceled for. He's really, really different. And I think that woke a lot of young men up. And for me, one of the most important things was his message around entrepreneurship, self-improvement, and building a life that you truly want and desire. And for me at the time, I was working a great job. I was working for a major political influencer who had close ties to Andrew Tate, but I never met him at the time. And I was watching a lot of his clips, and I just became really infatuated with the message of building my dream life because I always felt like I was destined for more. And then there came a point in my life where I saw enough of Andrew Tate's clips, as well as just life things, where I was like, I have to make a big change. I could stay at this job, I could feel comfortable, collect a paycheck, but I know that this is my chance to really, take a leap of faith. I was 27, 28 at the time, and I told my brother, I was like, we got to move and make a drastic decision. So we basically packed up our bags, moved from the United States, Texas, to a country called Cyprus, where we lived in the Middle East on a military base, and we were planning on starting a YouTube channel. One thing led to another, and originally it was male self-improvement content, and then out of nowhere, we had the idea of actually starting an agency. My brother and I, we decided to call it Frayter Media. It was a social media agency because I previously had a lot of content experience, and I know social media very well, and so one thing led to another, and we built out this content agency. Now, 2 years later, it's over 20 full-time employees. And now, a few weeks ago, was the first time actually seeing Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and Justin Waller in person after consuming all their clips, long ago. And before anybody says anything, I'm in a beautiful, healthy relationship, and I absolutely love my life. So all the other bullshit is just fucking nonsense. And I think one more thing I want to add is that a lot of the young men that got inspired by Andrew Tate, it was basically the pendulum swinging, because we were going through a time of like men being feminized in a lot of ways, and they're being soft. And I still think there's a lot of soft men that are absolutely feminized that aren't living up to their full potential. But I think that there's been a wake-up call, and at least the guys that I surround myself with, there's been a shift in the pendulum, where we were going through this like real hardcore lefty stage where everybody is, either a hardcore feminist or a closeted conservative. And now it's like people are starting to open up and be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm okay with speaking up now. And I think a lot of that is because of Andrew and Tristan Tate. It inspired a lot of young men to actually to speak up and stand up on their values and what they believe in, and knowing that it's okay. Whatever happens, I'll be okay. This is what I believe, and there's absolutely no reason to hide from that. And I think that's a very powerful message for a lot of young men that were craving that male role model, because in a lot of ways, take a look at some of the role models that you have now. As far as men, most men in cartoons growing up, or in like Disney Channel or Nickelodeon, the guys were all stupid, and like the women were all boss babes. And I think that can't be a good thing for young guys to see, for young kids to see, that they don't have, especially if they don't have a dad in their life. They're looking at these like degenerate adults that are male, and they're like, well, fuck, I got to be like him. Like, who am I going to look at? Especially young kids, they're very impressionable. So anyway, I met him a few weeks ago, Justin Waller, and Andrew Tate. And the biggest lesson that I took after meeting him and shaking his hand and just having a quick conversation was, I get it. Those 3 words, I get it. And the reason why I say that is because it's every young man's dream to be in shape, to be wealthy, to know how to fight, to have aura, and just be respected. And I think, like while I was at the show, this fight night, people were running up to them asking for pictures. Girls were flocking to them. The point is that they're somebody that, aside from what the mainstream media tells you, because that's all bullshit, but like a lot of men respect them and look at them and being like, you know what, these guys have something that I actually really admire, and women ultimately want to be with them. And so I told myself, I get it. And it really inspired me. And not that I needed the extra motivation because I'm already a disciplined guy, but I saw that and I said, you know what, I want to have that feeling too of like people looking at me and respecting me because I'm in shape, because I stand on my values, because I'm a good businessman, and I'm growing my personal brand and social media, and I'm attracting the right type of people. And so all those guys, Justin Waller, Tristan, they're just very good looking, successful guys that are just, they're masculine dudes. Even if you don't take away their whole message, the point is that you can take away a portion of that. Maybe it's just the aura portion and the respect portion. Maybe it's the fact that they're hungry to make more money. And they are some of the guys that actually pushed, I know like myself, I told you, to actually become an entrepreneur and take the leap of faith and put my last name on something, Frayter Media, like that is something that's extremely important to me. And whatever happens with them in their life, I don't, if I never see them again, that's fine. The point is that they gave me that little nugget when I actually needed it, that piece of advice that changed the trajectory of my life. And you could maybe look at them, you could look at somebody else that's successful, but the point is all the most successful people that all have that aura about them, and they command respect. And that is something that every guy wants, to feel respected, to feel valued, and that only comes through drastic discipline. And that was my big takeaway from meeting them. Guys, thank you so much for watching. For those that don't know me, my name is Gary Frayter, and if you made it to the end of the video, chances are you and I are very, very like-minded. I'm growing my social media agency, Frayter Media. If you have any questions as far as growing your service-based business or just entrepreneurship and want to talk, feel free to DM me, Gary Frayter, on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.